Hello, guys. Welcome to the new episode of Automated Seller Podcast. Today, I have a special guest, Taylor. Taylor, how are you?
Very good. Hi. Thanks for having me today, Jacob.
Sure. So, Taylor, I have a first question to you. I know that you're a chief sales officer of a retail empire, and I would like you to introduce yourself to the audience and retail empire.
True. Yeah, sure. I mean, I'm reading as CSO, but actually I'm the owner of the company. I just
Mm-hmm.
define myself as sales officer because mainly what I deal with is sales. So my name is Taylor. I've been working with department stores in the USA for the last 22 years. I've been living in Asia for 12 years, also in China 7 years, and producing for guys like Walmart and Costco. And I even did some private label for both of them. And I was working with denim line for Beyonce, which was a very good success for me as a beginner back in those days. Moving forward, I created my own brand and it was selling very, very good to around 60 retailers across the US. And around 2016 or 17, I kind of let it go because of many reasons, mainly because it was very hard for me at all the manufacturing side. Anyway, what we do for the last 6 years is we take online brands like e-commerce, Shopify, Amazon sellers, and we bring them to the retail side, the brick and mortar side of the industry in the USA. Mainly, what we focus on is big boxes of physical stores. Yeah,
Got it. And now you are actually currently you live in Tel Aviv, right? And you said that you are doing it for US. So here, actually, I would just add a quick follow up question. It seems
sure.
like it doesn't really matter if you are like living in US or outside of US to actually sell to retail stores to US. Is that correct?
That is correct. Well, I'm based in Tel Aviv. Now it's easier because I used to do the same business when I was in China, and the time gap was huge between the States and China. But then I have a partner in LA and another one in Canada. And, you know, most of my vendors, I don't know if most, but at least half of them are not a US vendors. I mean, I have vendors from Israel, Australia, UK, Portugal, and so on. So it doesn't really matter. As long as your brand is active in the United States, like selling on Amazon or Shopify
Mhm.
with your fulfillment center there, then there shouldn't be any problem.
Perfect. Now let's get back to retail empire. Could you explain to the audience your offer? What exactly do you do?
Right. Yeah. So what we do, we are looking at the brand first of all. Like a brand is applying to us, and we look at the brand, trying to figure out the biggest question, which is this something that has potential for the retail industry? So this is a very big question. It's hard to define. We'll probably talk about it down the road here today. But
Yeah.
then once we understand that there is or think that there is a potential, and again, I don't consider myself as a top expert or anything like that. I just, kind of know the industry quite good for 2 decades by now. And then usually when I see a brand with potential, I discover later on that I was right. But that's not all the cases.
Hmm.
Anywho, once we figure that point, then we get moving to the next step before the sales, and the next step would be retail readiness. So retail readiness is a lot of things, but mainly what you need to take care of is that the website of the brand would look, normal or good if possible, and then a catalog. So if you have one or two SKUs, it wouldn't make sense to create a catalog, a PDF one, but you would just use your website. But if you have 20, 40, or 200 SKUs, then yes, it will make sense. And then the next step will be looking at the packaging to make sure that you're not selling in a poly bag, because you cannot put a product in a poly bag on a shelf in a store because it wouldn't look right.
Hmm.
Um, and then the main thing is the brief, which is how to describe the brand shortly, precisely, and in an attractive way. So our goal, once we get to the sales part, which we will talk about, our goal is that when the buyer looks at this brand of yours presented to them, buyers are looking at, I guess, hundreds, if not thousands, of brands every month. Like so many people applying.
Hmm.
We are aiming to make sure that the buyer will take your brand on top of all the others that he sees and say, okay, this is a brand that I want to look into. I want to see samples. I want to see pricing. This is interesting. And that is a, not easy to make it happen, but that's what we're here for. And then we
Mhm.
get to the sales part, which is the most important part. We are dividing it to three layers, but I don't know if you want me to talk about the sales part yet.
Not yet, not yet. Now, I just wanted to focus on overall like activities, what you are doing,
Sure.
right? And then before we continue in depth, I just wanted to actually ask you this controversial question because especially during COVID, right? What happened is everything went online, and I've seen some experts who are saying that retail is will be dead, and now it seems like there's a huge potential actually there. People actually go back to stores. They really like to see the physical stores, and actually, I wanted to ask you what, in the first place, inspired you to create this company, and why did you focus? Why did you decide to focus on this particular market segment? Because again, experts are saying both two things, and I really wonder what's your opinion on this.
So I guess it's a mixture of numbers, which is always a good base when you create a business, and then a feeling as well. So in terms of the numbers, well, there are 29,000, a bit more than 29,000 retailers across the US. There are 4 million physical stores across this 29,000, plus a few more which are not considered as big boxes. The retail market, and this will probably surprise most of the vendors, the retail market, the brick and mortar, is okay. Let's say it like that. The online market in the USA is only 15% of out of the whole market. So the brick and mortar is not 85%, but it's somewhere close to that because you also have, other stuff that are not traditional stores, gas station, whatever it is, okay, where people are
Yeah,
buying products on shelf. But however you look at it, the market is huge. That's the number side. First chapter. The second chapter is that I'm hearing the term retail apocalypse for almost a decade by now, but I don't see the apocalypse. I see the exact opposite thing. Things are growing. If you search, on Google, you will see a lot of different department stores are growing every day. They're not closing. So yeah, they closed during COVID because of what happened, and that was the rise of the big rise of the online, definitely. But still, they got back to business quite fast. Now, on the emotional side, so-called emotional, I know how it is to struggle and get your products in front of buyers because I was doing it for myself with two different brands and other private labels. So when I started this business, I was excited not only about the potential in the market that I know there is, but also about the fact that I can take a vendor who thinks like, no, who's gonna look at my products? Those buyers, Macy's, Bloomingdale, Urban Outfitter, they're huge. And to make those buyers look at it and placing orders to those vendors, it's something very exciting because those vendors, the online ones, they have most of the cases, they have no idea whatsoever how to do it. At the same way that if you tell me go ahead and sell something on Amazon, I don't know, I just don't know. Okay, so it's not that it's just what I do. Yeah.
yeah, sure, sure, sure. Got it. Here, actually, I would love to ask you like a follow up questions regarding like it's very simple question probably, but I know I am confused myself, especially because we work with a lot of Amazon sellers and Amazon vendors, and I don't know. 1 year ago, I didn't know really what's the difference between both of two. But here it seems like you're not really a seller anymore, right? I mean, if you consider yourself a seller online, for example, on Amazon, once you start selling to retail stores, you're becoming a vendor automatically, right? Just this terminology, I want to have it straight. You are not no longer like a seller because on Amazon, again, if you are a seller or if you are a vendor, it's like completely different business model. And here, if you are a seller online, actually, when you sell to retails, you're becoming a vendor, right?
That is correct. You're becoming the vendor. And you know what? Just one small
Mm-hmm.
thing. There's a misconception about what people are doing. When I'm talking with Amazon space people, I'm asking one of the questions I'm asking like, what do you do for a living? How do you define yourself? And I say, I'm an Amazon seller. I sell on Amazon. No, you're not. You're running a brand. You are a brand owner. Now, if you're just buying products as they are from China or India or wherever and selling them, then yes, you're no more than Amazon seller. But most of them, they have branding, logo, some kind of a basic packaging or advanced one and so forth. So I'm just saying that in terms of those terminology, I would not define them as a vendor only, but as a brand owner, and that's how we look at it.
Yeah.
And there's a huge term called micro brands, the rise of the
Hmm.
micro brands. So yeah, it goes together.
Got it. Got it. Perfect. And now, actually, I wanted to ask you for the whole process that Retail Empire follows when working with a new client. Like, what is a step-by-step process that's involved pretty much in your strategy?
Yeah. So as I mentioned before, first we're looking at the potential. Once we know there is a potential, we make sure that they are retail ready. This should take usually between few days up to 2 weeks at the maximum. It's a very quick process normally. And if we identify that it's not going to be easy, we don't accept them to our service before they get ready. You know, if it's a long process, but we do give them guidance. Now, once they get to sales, which is the most important thing, we work by three different layers. So the first layer is me and my partner from Canada. We go through our list of contacts. So right now we're working with almost 400 different retailers in the USA. Some of them has 16,000 stores, 8,000, 50 stores. It depends, but I count them the same as a retailer. So anyway, once we start these sales efforts, we go through our list of buyers, which means the buyers that we work with on a daily basis. Like we have running orders or previous running orders with them. They know us. They know who we are, and we're trying to sort the list. Meaning, if you're showing me, for example, kitchen items, okay, kitchen brand, kitchen accessory, let's say, and I'm trying to pull this and get it into Nordstrom, for example. So I have good relationship with the health and beauty HBC team of buyers in there, but I don't necessarily have the kitchen accessory one. So I will ask them, hey, can you get me introduced to this and that buyer? And they would normally say yes and do it. So that's a process. There's no way to automate that process because I don't even want to automate that, because if they get a so-called MailChimp email from me or whatever it is, automated email, they will
Yeah.
like, oh, what is this? Am I being targeted here? Are you serious, Taylor? Like, you know me, I know you. What's going on? So anyway, we don't do that with those buyers, and we're talking about more than 4,000 buyers across all of our lists, which is quite a lot. Thinking about going through them one by one, it's a very hard work, but that's what we do. Second thing that we do on the second layer, I would say, is what we call the special channels. So in terms of the special channels, we have first of all the relationship with subscription boxes. And if you know, for those who are listening, if you don't know what subscription boxes are, you can definitely Google that. This is a huge industry in the United States where companies has tons of hundreds of thousands and sometimes millions of subscribers buying, paying subscription every month and getting like a box full of surprises. So for that
Oh.
box, it could be 9.99, it could be 29, it could be 99.99, and so on. But in that box, they have somewhere between 3 to 7 surprises, products to their customers. There's a whole buzz around that, YouTube videos and stuff, and
Hmm.
Instagram and so on. So anyway, what we do is we offer them those products from the vendors, hopefully to get into one of the boxes, which are, you know, getting very good traffic and business. Not only business, but also a huge promotional marketing for the brand. Inside this layer of special channel, we also consider the .com. So obviously, Amazon is not on our plate, but Walmart is something that we do work with. We can help with Walmart. It's not really a big goal for me because Walmart is a platform. Okay, let's not talk about Walmart. But then we have TractorSupply.com and Michaels.com. Those are like Tractor Supply is 2,500 stores, but they still have very good marketplace. Same goes for Michaels, 1,100 stores with a good marketplace launched just the beginning of this year, Macy's.com and so on. And inside those, we're also working with TV segments like Good Morning America,
Mm-hmm.
show in ABC channel.
Yeah.
There's like Tori Johnson show there with segments and everything. And then we work with media companies, QVC, HSN, and so on. So these are all considered as a special channel. So yeah, our main thing is retail, but still we want to try and offer our vendors as many options as possible out of the traditional Amazon or Shopify thing. The third layer, well, I mentioned before, I worked with my own brand with 60 retailers. And if you noticed, I mentioned later on that as of now, we work with almost 400 retailers. That was quite a milestone to go from 60 to almost 400. And the only way for me to do it fast was by using softwares. So I got to the point where I used all my contacts, all my relationship, everything. And now, like, I'm stuck. So, okay, I still want to work with hundreds of more retailers, but how am I going to do it? And that what we did is we started to use, that was about almost 3 years ago, we started to use different softwares.
Mm-hmm.
Zoom Info, Hunter, Apollo, you name it, like all over the place. We are probably using more than 20 different softwares. First
Mm-hmm.
of all, to find buyers. Second, to sort them out per our categories. Then to approach them. And then approaching, we don't approach by massive emails like MailChimp or Moosend. We do it one by one, but not manually. We have other softwares to automate the cold email. This is called cold emails. Okay.
Yeah.
And then you once you send like between 5 to 20,000 emails a day, you're gonna get probably at least 1,000 or 2,000 back of them. So then you have to sort them out. Which one goes to the garbage, not interested, or which one are interested? Well, let's talk to the vendor and see what we can do for them and move their products. So yeah.
Got it. Got it. No, that was really comprehensive. Comprehensive answer. Thank you for this, especially regarding software. I actually wanted to do a follow up by you just mentioned it, so that's really cool. But I wonder when you mention 400 retailers, are those 400 stores or are those 400 completely different companies, like brand, not brands, but like.
Completely different companies. So
Hmm.
400 stores would probably be one of the smallest
Yeah,
retailers that we work with.
exactly,
Okay, like
exactly.
if you look at TJ Maxx that we work with, they alone have more than 4,000 stores. Then you
Hmm.
have
No,
Costco with almost something close to 3,000, CVS with 9,900, and so on and so on.
not even
Across
like mention the Walmart, right?
right, and Walmart, it's crazy, but what I do see is recently it's getting very hard to get into Walmart stores
Hmm.
because they have kind of a method that developed in the last year or so that if they want to get you in stores, if they're not really sure, which is most of the cases, they would want to see you selling online on their marketplace
Yeah.
more than $80,000 a month or more before they get you to the stores.
Hmm.
So and it's specifically it with Walmart is like that.
Yes, yes. Actually, I wanted to do a follow up on Walmart as well because you mentioned that you were putting items to, yeah, retail stores of Walmart, but I know that they not like recently, but for last few years they launched a online marketplace, which right now I think is like really booming. I mean, I've seen it even on a Prosper show, that people started talking about Walmart. I recently had Ryan King, who is running a Walmart agency, on our podcast, and actually I wonder if it's also in your business plan somewhere to help people to get to the online marketplace on Walmart, or do you have partners for this?
Yes, I mean, we are already doing that. It's not like something like it's not a big part in our business, but we do it, just as part of the other things that we do.
Mm-hmm.
What we are able to do in terms of Walmart, because you can subscribe online, you can do the whole process, just onboarding without anything. But there's a method with them. They took their omni-channel, like the stores buyers, and they put some of them to help to marketplace vendors. So what happens is that, and we are connected to a few teams like that. So if you do that with this kind of method, then what happens is that simply they will lead you in the onboarding process. And then afterwards, when you start selling, every week they will follow up with you to make sure that you are growing your sales in their platform. So they are
Mm-hmm.
from the inside, so they know how to help you, right? And
Mm-hmm.
this is like, yeah. So that's what we do in terms of Walmart marketplace.
Got it. Got it. Now, let's say someone who is running a big brand is watching our podcast. He or she decided to actually expand to retail stores. For now, it's just online marketplaces. And I wanted to ask you, if I would be this person, how do I know if there's a potential for my brand in a retail space? What are the most critical factors to consider when it comes to like to determine the potential of success?
Right. So as long as you have 10, 15 or more SKUs, this is a very good, very good thing to have, first of all. With 5, 6, 7 SKUs, it's more different, more difficult. Why? Because think about the buyers having budget. They don't want to spread the budget between 100 vendors. They want 20, 30, 40. It's just an example. It could be different numbers. But the idea is that you need to cover some part of your subcategory. So if it's kitchen accessories, like we mentioned before, if you're covering with your SKUs between 25 to 50% of that subcategory, then they look at your brand as a good potential. But if you're covering 5% because you only have 3, 4 SKUs and they are not unique at all, then you have a problem. So you can sell things that are ununique, and I've been doing so last year pretty good, but then you need to have a good branding instead, right? Another point which is very strong, and this is why we work with 3 brands like that, having only one SKU, is that because when you have a patent on that
Hmm.
SKU, it's a whole different story, because then basically, your competition is very small, if there is at all. So yeah.
100%. Actually, yeah, regarding the patent, we just faced, let's say, a wall because we've seen a really great product out there. I don't want to mention like details right now. Maybe those people are watching us here, but actually we noticed like very nice product. We wanted to reproduce it just for our case, and unfortunately, those guys they have a patent, and right now we have a problem how to do it in a different way for
Wow.
our cases. So yeah. Um, Now, I wanted to also ask you, how much would it cost for the brand owner
Oh,
to actually get set up and be ready for retail?
okay. So on their self, what they need to consider is refurnishing the website, which is normally doing, most of the vendors I've seen are either doing it internally, or with their, constant working with the designer. So the catalog might cost a bit as well. Catalog, well, people, when they ask me, either if they work with me or not, I'm referring them to a company from, I don't know if they're Indian or Pakistan or something, but these guys are like a bunch of guys that they are doing catalogs for people I work with for already few years. They know how to make a retail oriented catalog, and it costs between 150 to $400 or $500. It depends how many pages, how deep you want to go,
Hmm.
and so forth. But it's a couple of hundreds. On terms of Sales Tube, which is our service, we call it Sales Tube. YouTube's Sales Tube. Anyway, so what we charge is both subscription monthly fee and percentage from the deals. So the subscription right now it's $9.99, but we're going to have a promotion for quite a while of half price, because we want to get more brands coming in. So it's going to be $4.99 a month. But then, and as long as you're registered, we work for you with all those retailers. And then the main thing for us, which is what our business model is built on, is the percentage, which is between 5 to 10%. So you would ask me, why is it 5 to 10? How can you determine if it's this or that, or is it 7 or what? So I'm saying that we have to be open with this percentage, because if you look at pricing, and I'm a little bit glitching to the pricing for a second, if your price, for instance, is $50 MSRP, retail price, okay, you take your patent, you sell it online, $50. That's what the final consumer is paying. Your wholesale price would probably be around 20 to 25, meaning it's going to be between 40, 45 to 50% off the MSRP. That means that your cost need to be half of that. So if your cost is 12, 12.5, selling for 25, and they sell for 50, everyone's happy. I'm taking my 10%, everyone is good. But if you go to TJ Maxx or Marshalls or Home Goods, companies like that are selling off price, they would not pay the 25, not the 20, and not even 15. They would try to pull you to around 14, $15. So if
Mm-hmm.
you are buying for 10, $12, I cannot come to that deal and say, hey, retail empire takes 10%. That's it. No, it doesn't make sense because we are not supposed, as a rep agent, we are not supposed to make the same amount as the vendor, not even close to that. That's why
Mm-hmm.
we have this gap between 5 to 10% because it has to make sense because eventually
Yeah.
our main goal is not only to get the deals, but to have a long term relationship with the vendors because the repeat orders is the easiest part of the business.
Mm-hmm. Got it. Got it. No, definitely there are factors, and it's really good that you consider all of the cases
Yeah.
for the brands. And actually, since we are here, I wonder what's your, if you could also say, like, what's your biggest success story of your client that you worked with, and actually he or she's experienced the significant growth through selling to retail stores.
So there's a story that happened last year, two stories actually. One is a seller from New York, a Hasidic Jewish guy, and another lady, a Chinese lady, very, very sweet and intelligent lady from LA. Both of them succeeded very good. Now, what happened with the lady from LA? She has 4 or 5 SKUs. Back in those days, it was a year and a bit ago. She had I think, 4 SKUs in health and beauty care. So I said, Lisa, I don't know. I mean, it's gonna be very hard because the products are beautiful, but I've seen so many of the same thing. She said, "Don't worry about the potential. Leave that to me. You just go ahead and do what you do. Do your thing. Do the magic, so-called magic." So anyway, we started to sell the products, and within less than 5 weeks, we got over. It was close to $600,000 orders within 5 weeks. It just started. Moving forward, we had more orders coming in. We worked with 3 subscription boxes, TJ Maxx, Marshall. We had their hair products. We had them on deals and steals on TV. A lot of good things happened. But at some point, somewhere next, closer to the last Christmas, it went down and down. I don't really understand why until now. But at the same time, the vendor from New York was selling. He had two brands. He had one kitchen accessory and one gardening, hoses for the garden, like normal
Hmm.
hoses. So with the
Yeah.
hoses, with the kitchen item, we sold very rapidly hundreds of thousands of dollars to Nordstrom with his products. And they are casual products. There's nothing special about them. He just, he was just precise with what he was doing. And there's not, I think he
Hmm.
had on the kitchen area, he had like 12 or 13 SKUs. On the gardening, he had 6 of them. And the gardening one went to Costco. So here is what Costco is doing. Costco is taking a test order first to 16 location. It takes a long time to work with them, but then 16 location, usually between 2 and 4 pallets per store. They test it in 16 stores, 1 6. Once it's proved to sell good, in those 16 stores, they take 4 to 8 pallets for 500 stores. And that's
Hmm.
normally going to be an order of between $3 to $5 million. And
Oh
that's
wow.
what's happening now with this guy from New York.
Crazy.
Yeah,
Crazy. Yeah,
yeah,
that's really great success story actually.
yeah.
And now for actually, yeah, for new retailers, new potential retailers, could you share some emerging trends, opportunities, maybe some niches that they could look into, uh, that if in the future they would decide to actually go and start selling to retail stores, they should look into?
You mean which retailers people should look at it when they start,
No,
when they want to?
more like I think the other way around. So I mean, definitely it has to be a fit between the retailer and the
Exactly.
potential vendor, right? But maybe first let's just focus overall about like trends, opportunities, niches, like kind of products that could be unique that people could look into.
Right. So I guess people will ask ChatGPT. And I can tell you that even if you use ChatGPT browser version connected to the internet, like not the old version, even if it's
Hmm.
not ChatGPT 4, the answers are misleading. You have to know that. I found tons of mistakes there because I was just trying to test it for myself. And maybe I'll find something I don't know. Anywho, you have to divide first your product. Like, is it an off price product or medium or high end? Once you know that, you're going to match the retailers off price, and you can check that still with ChatGPT, but better we do on Wikipedia, not even Google, Wikipedia. Off-price retailers in the USA. You're gonna get Marshalls, Bills of Florida, Tuesday Morning, obviously TJ Maxx. These are the type of companies. If it's a high-end product, like a two, three, $400 product, let's say luggages, bags,
Yeah.
very high, very unique leather stuff, and so on, or outdoor products, then you probably want to go to the high end, which is going to be Gordman, Neiman Marcus, Macy's. Although Macy's used to be high end, now it's so those type of companies, Saks Fifth Avenue and so on. But then you have to define where you're at. But, and this is a big but, if you're selling outdoor product, it is obviously suitable for most of the retailers, but there are certain retailers only for that niche. And you're looking at Academy Sport, REI, Dick's Sporting Goods, companies
Hmm.
like that. Okay, Patagonia, they are selling specifically outdoor. That means, tents, boats, accessories, even gun accessories and stuff like that. And I've seen a lot of brands doing those stuff like optic stuff and so on.
Hmm. Got it. Got it. Seems like there's a lot of strategy and thinking here. It's not really like you launch the crazy hyping product on TikTok and bam, it just goes like this. Here, you really
No,
need
it's
to
not.
do it.
It's
You need
it's
to know a people. You need to do a lot of research,
that is
and you need to
correct.
connect the dots. No, that's really great.
That
I
is
learned
correct.
so much actually just by listening to you today. So thanks a lot,
Thank you.
Teller.
Thank
And
you.
for the last question, it's more about actually you. Is there anything you'd like to share with the audience where they can find you if someone is interested into getting into the retail stores?
Sure. So, two channels that I'm always referring to. The first one is a very silent WhatsApp group I have. By now, there's, I guess, 200 and something people in there. It's silent because I'm the only one who's posting there. It's closed. And then I post once a day, only 5 times a week, with tips about retail and with real time requests. Like if a buyer is approaching saying, "Hey, Taylor, I'm looking for whatever gadgets," I'm posting it there. And if someone has suitable thing, they can always approach me and take it to the next step. That's the first channel. The second one, you can look for Retail Empire Facebook group and everything, but the second real channel is SalesTube. I'll share the link here. And because SalesTube is like really describing in detail everything I mentioned here today in dots, how we work, how we operate, what we expect from you, what you can expect from us, and there's even a way to schedule a call with me or with my partner, and so on. So that's the easiest way to touch base with us.
Totally. I will make sure to include those information in the description below the video so everyone can check. Perfect.
Great,
Then Taylor, thanks a lot for the podcast today. It was really awesome. I don't have much opportunities to talk about the retail stores, so this one is definitely really good. So thanks a
great.
lot. We see each other soon in Tel Aviv. I'm
Yes,
excited. So
yes, me too.
thank you.
Thank you so much for
Bye
having me,
bye.
Jacob. Thank you. Have a nice day.